The haunting barbecue. Summertime had always been my favorite season, a time for outdoor gatherings, barbecues, and laughter. So when my friends invited me to a barbecue at a remote lakeside cabin, I couldn't resist the idea of a weekend getaway. The cabin was nestled among tall pines, its porch overlooking a tranquil lake. As the sun set and the barbecue fired up, the smell of sizzling meat filled the warm evening air. We laughed, toasted, and shared stories, the flickering bonfire casting dancing shadows on our faces. But as the night wore on, a strange unease settled over the group. The laughter grew hollow, and the lake, once a source of serenity, now appeared dark and foreboding. We heard odd rustlings in the woods, and glimpsed fleeting figures in the shadows. As I was about to voice my concerns, I noticed something even more unsettling. On the grill, the meat had turned a sickly shade of red, oozing a foul-smelling liquid. My friends continued to eat, oblivious to the nightmarish transformation. I tried to warn them, but my words fell on deaf ears. They devoured the tainted meat, their faces twisted in grotesque delight. The shadows grew closer, and the rustlings in the woods intensified. Panicked, I fled into the cabin, barricading myself in one of the rooms. I heard my friends outside, their voices a dissonant chorus, their laughter an unsettling cacophony. It was as if they had been possessed by some malevolent force. The night grew darker, the unease thicker, and the cabin seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. I couldn't escape, and as I huddled in the dark room, I realized that I was not alone. The spirits of the woods had claimed my friends, and they were now coming for me. They whispered in the shadows, their voices filled with longing and malevolence. I felt a spectral hand on my shoulder, and the room filled with a putrid stench. The spirits of the cabin had chosen me as their next victim. I awoke the next morning, the cabin bathed in warm sunlight. It was as if the horrors of the previous night had been a nightmare. But as I ventured outside, I saw the remnants of the barbecue, the grill, the red-stained meat, and the disheveled cabin. My friends were gone, their laughter replaced by an eerie silence. The spirits of the cabin had claimed them, and the memory of that haunting barbecue still haunts me. A chilling reminder that summertime can hide the darkest of secrets. The abandoned pool. Every summer, I attended the same camp in the picturesque woods of New England. It was a place of fond memories, laughter, and adventure. But one summer, something dark and sinister lurked beneath the surface, turning the camp into a nightmare. The first signs of trouble came during the evening campfire. As we gathered around the flickering flames, the camp director, a stern and secretive figure, shared a ghost story about a malevolent spirit that haunted the woods. I dismissed it as a campfire tale, but as the night wore on, strange things began to happen. The campfire's flames leapt and danced with an otherworldly energy, casting eerie shadows on the trees. I heard whispers in the woods, voices that were not quite human, and the air grew heavy with a sense of foreboding. It was during a midnight hike that the true horror revealed itself. As we ventured deeper into the woods, we stumbled upon an ancient, abandoned cabin. It was a place of decay, The wood warped and the windows shattered. Despite the camp director's warnings, some of us entered the cabin, curiosity getting the better of us. Inside, we found a room filled with tattered old books, strange symbols scrawled on the walls, and an overwhelming sense of malevolence. As we explored further, we heard footsteps in the woods outside. The camp director's voice rang out, filled with urgency, as he implored us to leave the cabin. But it was too late. The cabin seemed to come alive, its walls closing in on us, and the symbols glowing with an eerie light. Panic set in as we realized that we were trapped, prisoners in a cabin that defied the laws of reality. The whispers in the woods grew louder, and the malevolent spirit that the camp director had spoken of emerged from the shadows. It was a creature of nightmares, its face contorted with rage, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly fire. It reached out to us, its touch like ice, and one by one, my fellow campers began to vanish, consumed by the spirit. I was the last one standing, the cabin closing in around me, the spirit's malevolence pressing down upon me. Just as I thought I would be lost, the camp director appeared, wielding a glowing talisman that banished the spirit back into the woods. He explained that the cabin had been a place of dark rituals, a gateway to a realm of horror. The spirit had been bound to the cabin, and it sought to claim the souls of those who ventured too close. I left the camp, my sense of security shattered. The memory of that summer camp nightmare still haunts me. A chilling reminder that even the most idyllic of places can hide the darkest of secrets. The sweltering silence. The lazy days of summer always held a special place in my heart. But one summer, the relentless heat would give way to a chilling encounter with a force beyond comprehension. It was the hottest summer I could remember, the sun's scorching rays relentless in their intensity. I decided to escape the oppressive heat by seeking refuge in a small lakeside cabin, a place where I hoped to find respite in the cool waters and gentle breezes. As I arrived at the cabin, I noticed a strange stillness in the air. The lake, usually a hub of activity, was eerily silent. The cabins along the shoreline stood empty, their windows like vacant eyes. I ventured out to the lake's edge, and as I gazed into the still waters, I saw something that sent a chill down my spine. Beneath the surface, there was a reflection of a ghostly figure, a young girl with eyes filled with sorrow. Panic set in as I realized that the girl was not alone. She was joined by a multitude of spectral figures, their forms obscured beneath the water. They reached out to me, their hands like ice, and their voices a haunting echo. The spirits whispered, "Help us." Their voices filled with longing, "Release us from this watery prison." I tried to flee, but the cabin's surroundings had become a nightmarish maze. The spirits pursued me, their spectral forms blocking every exit. I was trapped in a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead had been erased. As I ventured deeper into the cabin, I discovered a hidden room filled with forgotten diaries and old photographs. They told a chilling tale of a tragic accident that had occurred at the lake years ago, an accident that had claimed the lives of many children. The memory of the sweltering summer still haunts me, a chilling reminder that the heat of summer can give way to the coldest of encounters.